This is NDTV. And you're watching Ndtv-Hindu.
Well, the wait for who will be pitted against whom is almost over. The AIADMK released its second list of candidates today. So has the opposition carefully planted its strong candidates to field in certain constituencies? Our senior correspondent Pir Mohammed joins us from Vijay Kant's party headquarters. A very good evening, I'm Divya, and here are the headlines now. Deputy Chief Minister M.K. Stalin declares his assets, says he's worth over 1 crore 38 lakh rupees, but says he owns no cars. Jayalalitha gives
அமோகமான வாக்கு வித்தியாசத்தில் வெற்றி பெறுவேன் என்ற நம்பிக்கை எனக்கு நிரம்ப இருக்கிறது.
Jayalalitha gives Virudhachalam back to DMDK. AIADMK releases its list of 160 candidates as well as the 41 seats for the DMK. Sources tell Ndtv-Hindu that Sadiq Basha's post-mortem report will be released after elections. Dr. Dekal, who conducted his post-mortem, files resignation. Amma will launch her campaign from Trichy on Thursday, releases the list of candidates. Saida Duresami will face Stalin from Koratur. DMK releases its election manifesto. The party echoes DMK's promise to retrieve Kachativu from Sri Lanka to ensure welfare of fishermen. New officers take charge today ahead of the assembly elections. Jangad is replaced by Karan Sinha. Bolanath will take charge as DGP in the place of Lalit Prasad. And here are the news-making national headlines. Congress and TMC work out a seat-sharing agreement for the West Bengal polls. Trinamool to contest 299 and Congress in 65. A command center of Gaddafi in Tripoli is hit in overnight airstrikes by coalition forces. Airstrikes will harm innocent civilians, say Foreign Minister S.M. Krishna calls to end violence to resolve differences. Another scare at Japan's Fukushima plant, though power has been restored to cool reactors, smoke seen billowing out of 2 reactors. Well, Deputy Chief Minister M.K. Stalin, who filed his nomination papers to contest from the Koratur constituency this morning, has declared his assets. The Deputy Chief Minister's annual income is only 5,08,630 rupees, and his total assets, including movable and immovable assets, is a modest 1 crore 38 lakh rupees. And here are the specifics of Stalin's assets that emerged when he filed his papers for the Koratur constituency today. His movable assets include 19,23,833 and immovable assets include 11,89,541. And his total assets will now include 13,81 and 907 crore, and that's almost more than 1 crore rupees. Interestingly, this 12 lakh rupees less than what he declared when he stood from 1,000 lights polls in the 2006 assembly elections. And what is more, Stalin, a graduate from the Madras Presidency College, and Stalin has less movable assets than his wife Durgavati, and he does not even own a vehicle of his own, is what he says. The amount of liquid cash he has is just 50,000 rupees.
திராவிடம் முன்னேற்ற கழகத்தில் அங்கீகாரம் கொளத்தூர் சட்டமன்ற தொகுதிக்கு இன்று நான் வேட்புமனு தாக்கல் செய்திருக்கிறேன். இந்த தொகுதியை பொறுத்தவரையில் அமோகமான வாக்கு வித்தியாசத்தில் வெற்றி பெறுவேன் என்ற நம்பிக்கை எனக்கு நிரம்ப இருக்கிறது. எனவே கொளத்தூர் தொகுதியில் மட்டுமல்ல, தமிழகத்தில் இருக்கக்கூடிய 234 தொகுதிகளில் பெரும்பான்மையான இடங்களில் தலைவர் கலைஞர் அவர்கள் தலைமையில் அமைந்திருக்கக்கூடிய கூட்டணி கட்சி மிக பெருவாரியான வெற்றியை பெற இருக்கிறது. மீண்டும் தமிழ்நாட்டில் 6வது முறையாக தலைவர் கலைஞர் அவர்கள் தலைமையில் ஆட்சி அமையவிருப்பது உறுதி 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 என்பதை நான் மகிழ்ச்சியோடு தெரிவித்துக் கொள்கிறேன்.
And moving on, looks like investigation in Sadiq Basha's case is suffering a setback and the mystery over his death still continues. Dr. Dekal, who conducted the post-mortem of Sadiq Basha, has filed his resignation. He supposedly put in his papers on the 3rd of March and filed a petition in court to be relieved soon so that he can contest elections as an independent candidate, according to sources. Now, Dekal's late father was the district president of PMK in Viluppuram. However, Dr. Dekal has said his resignation had nothing to do with Basha's case. Sources in the forensic department have told Ndtv-Hindu that the post-mortem report of Sadiq Basha will be out only after elections. And the Tamil Nadu Health Secretary V.K. Subbaraj has reacted to Dr. Tekal's offer to resign. He says, and I quote, "Dr. Tekal's resignation is yet to be accepted. We will decide on it in a day or two. There is no connection between the case and Dr. Tekal's resignation. We are short of forensic experts, so Dr. Tekal was asked to conduct Sadiq Basha's post-mortem. He has to cooperate for the autopsy report irrespective of his resignation. As on date, he is still in service," unquote. And for more details on this, our crime reporter Salim now joins us live from the Hindu studio. Well, Salim, why exactly is there going to be a delay in the post-mortem reports?
Yeah, because several questions remain unanswered still, Divya. The reason, sources from the KMC and the forensic department say that they are awaiting the video footage, because the post-mortem was entirely videographed by the police, and the doctors who are working on the post-mortem report are waiting for the footage from day one. But even after 3 days, the police are yet to hand over the video footage to the doctors concerned. And point number 2, Sadiq Basha's body was rushed to a private hospital at around 1:20 in the afternoon, and normally the private hospital won't even touch the body if they declare it broad dead, but in this case his lower garments had been pulled off and his body was covered with a white cloth. So the doctors say, the doctors in the government hospital say that this has raised their suspicion, and it took almost 2 hours for the body to reach from the private hospital to the government Royapet hospital. And thirdly, the private hospital have not given any details. They normally used to give a certificate if they have handled the body. If they have not handled the body, it's okay with them. But if they have handled the body, they have to give a certificate to the government hospital mentioning the in time and out time of the body and what process were carried out. But the government doctors say that they are yet to receive such letter from the private hospital. And finally, they also say that the police are not cooperating with them well, because they have not handled the video evidence and the police have not contacted the doctors who have conducted the post-mortem examination. So basically, the doctors say that it's difficult to establish contact with the local policeman who is handling this case. Divya?
Right, Salim. Thanks very much indeed for joining us with all those details. Moving on to some political news now. Well, Jayalalitha has given Virudhachalam back to the DMDK after a fresh list was released today. The AIADMK has adhered to a lot of pulls and pressures and made changes in their election plans to satisfy their allies. The party has swapped 12 constituencies for the DMDK and 28 constituencies in total for all their allies. And Jayalalitha has put her campaigning vehicle back on the roads. Amma will launch her campaign from Trichy on Thursday, which is just a few kilometers away from Srirangam, where she is hoping to be elected from. The AIADMK Supremo's 18-day campaign will end in Chennai on the 11th of April. Jayalalitha was earlier scheduled to begin her campaign from Madurai last week, but had to reslot it as her allies were still upset over the seats in constituencies. The AIADMK today released its second list of 160 candidates in constituencies, and the DMDK has 41 seats as well. The DMDK has also backed Alandur from AIADMK. Now, this comes a day after the AIADMK's long-trusted ally, now an estranged ally, the MTMK, called it quits with the AIADMK alliance and boycotted the elections. And while the DMDK has released its first list of candidates for 11 seats out of the 41 allotted to them, Michael Rayappan, the producer of popular Tamil films like Nadodigal, will contest from Radhapuram, and K. Pandeyarajan from Mafoi will contest from Virudhunagar.
தேசிய முற்போக்கு திராவிட கழகத்தின் முதல் பட்டியலில் இன்னைக்கு வெளியிடணும்னு நான் வெளியிடுறேன். திரு பாண்டியராஜன் அவர்கள் தேர்தல் பணிச் செயலாளர் விருதுநகரில் போட்டி போடுறாங்க. செந்தில்குமார் இளைஞரணி துணை செயலாளர் அவர் பட்டுக்கோட்டையில் போட்டி போடுறாரு. அடுத்ததாக மைக்கேல் எஸ் ராயப்பன் அவர்கள் உயர்மட்ட குழு, அவர் ராதாபுரத்தில் போட்டி போடுகிறார்.
That shows the camaraderie spirit among ADMK and DMDK, and the cadres are already formed like a team and they are working like a team, and no, they will have a perfect cooperation as far as the constituencies are concerned, and the cadres are not bothered about who contests in which constituency on behalf of which party. They want only the front to emerge victorious, and we are confident that we will become victorious in this election.
And in news coming in, the second list of the DMDK is out, and actor Arun Pandian will be contesting from the Peravurani constituency. And for more details on this, senior correspondent Peer Mohammed now joins us live from Vijayakant's office. Peer, what do you make of this second list of names that have been announced?
Yes, Divya, the second list of candidates of the DMDK are announced just now at the DMDK headquarters by DMDK Chief Vijayakant. And it is a list of 14 candidates. Earlier they released a list of 11 candidates. Now in total it is 25 candidates are announced. Another 16 candidates will be announced in a short while by DMDK Chief Vijayakant. Now that they have fielded actor Arun Pandian from Peravurani, and from Tirupparangundam, AKT Raja is announced as candidate, because there were some reports saying that Vijayakant will be contesting either from Virudhachalam or from Tirupparangundam. Because he comes from Madurai, he might choose a constituency which is closer to Madurai, but now that it is very clear that he might contest again from Virudhachalam, because the list of candidate for Virudhachalam, Virihambakam, Alandur, others, Egmore, they are yet to be out. They will be finding a place in the third list of candidates, which will be out later tonight. And now that they have already fielded two people from the film industry, one Michael Rayappan, film producer from Radhapuram, and the Maffai Pandirajan, the human resources consultant, is fielded from Virudhunagar. These are among the 12 constituencies which the DMDK demanded from the AIDMK, and they have got it, and they have fielded candidates. The other list also will have surprises. We will know where Mr. Vijayakant will be contesting from once the last list is out. That may have other VVIPs names also. Yeah.
Right, P. So do you think the AIADMK and its allies have fielded the right star power in the right constituencies? In fact, perhaps waited for that DMK list to come out first so that they could have carefully planted some strong candidates in certain constituencies?
If you take Kolattur constituency, where from MK Stalin is contesting, they have fielded Saidai Duraisamy, who is a known figure in Chennai and outside Chennai. He is fielded against Stalin. He may give a tough fight to Stalin. Stalin has also chosen Kolattur because in that Kolattur assembly segment in the 2009 parliament elections, that is the segment which helped T.K.S. Ilangovan get elected to the parliament, because this particular segment had a huge difference of votes against the opposition candidate D. Pandian, who was contesting from North Chennai. So he has chosen that constituency because in Thousand Lights, Stalin could only get a margin of 2,500 votes in 2006 election. Now that with Saidai Duraisamy being fielded against Stalin, he may give a tough fight to Stalin. Yeah.
Right, P. Thanks very much indeed for joining us with all those details. Well, if it was a populist manifesto from the TMK, the PMK released a development-centric election manifesto today. The party says they would strive to retrieve Kachativu from Sri Lanka to ensure welfare of fishermen. The party suggested that conditional cash transfer of 1,000 rupees per month would help families living below the poverty line. The poll pledge includes creation of a special agro-economic zone for development of agriculture. The PMK also reiterated its commitment to environmental concerns by exhorting each of its office bearers to plant 10 saplings. Well, the Election Commission is cracking the whip in Chennai and are keeping a close check on illegal transfer of funds. The Saidapet Flying Squad of the Election Commission conducted surprise checks today on the Gandhi Mandapam Road in Koturpuram. Earlier, such surprise checks were conducted in some of the slums of Koturpuram by the same squad. Well, some of the new officers have taken charge today after a mass transfer was ordered by the Election Commission during the weekend. Chennai Suburban Commissioner of Police S.R. Jangith has been transferred and replaced by Karan Sinha, who assumed office today. Mr. Bolanath has also been ordered to replace the first woman DGP of Tamil Nadu, Ms. Latika Saran. Apart from them, the district collectors of Erode, Theni, Madurai and Thiruvallur and 7 senior IPS officers were also shifted in the process. Still ahead on the bulletin, it's India's battle against the extinction of the national animal, but are the efforts paying off? Find out when we come back.